There are a buttload of materials in this game and ways to farm them. And what's worse, the tooltip showing where to farm them is completely wrong unless you're looking to waste your time. And the last couple of weeks, I've been gathering data on where to farm all materials in the game as fast as possible, so you bunch of sissies can spend less time complaining that you're running out of mats, and more time taking care of your 35 children, 19 wives, and gazillion hemorrhoids. Let's do it. I've divided the different activities in the game depending on if they're worth running or not. The best in slot ones that you should spend most of your time doing if you want to be efficient. The decent ones that can be worth running sometimes, and the ones that are just shit and should be avoided. And starting with the absolute best obducite farms, we have 3 ways that are by far the best. Number 1 being strong room spamming. This can be done in 2 ways. The most efficient being that you use up all of your sigils that have a strong room, complete the strong room only, then fuck off from there to the next one. You'll deplete your sigils rather quickly though, but there's a way to keep spamming strong rooms non-stop. Unless it's been patched, I'll drop a pinned comment if it is. Anyhow, this is how you do it. You open up a nightmare sigil that has a strong room, but you don't enter it, no. Instead, what you want to do is teleport to a boss lair, because opening up a nightmare sigil in turn transforms all boss lairs to nightmare dungeons as well, meaning they can spawn a strong room now. It's RNG if there is a strong room in the boss lair you teleport to, but you can easily see if there's one when you teleport to it. If you see this purple flaccid penis-looking thing when you enter, then you know there's a strong room here. You then simply find it, complete it, and teleport to the next boss lair. Once you've been in all boss lairs, you just repeat from the first boss lair you started looking in, teleport to all the different boss lairs, and do the strong rooms. Pretty nice, huh? The third best option for obducites is doing escalating nightmare dungeons that have a strong room in it. This also has the added benefit of netting you a bunch of GA items once you complete the dungeon, and a bunch of forgotten souls as well. But this has the same downside as if you were to spam only nightmare dungeon strong rooms. You'll run out of sigils eventually, and you'd have to do it in a group with a bunch of fucking idiots. So if you need hundreds of thousands of obducites, you'll have to do the boss spamming strat. Now, to actually spend all of those obducites you've farmed, you're going to run into a massive issue: forgotten souls. This is what I've been struggling with all season long, so here's how to solve it. And you'll solve veiled crystals in the process. By far the best way of obtaining them is doing Legion events. On an hour basis, you can obtain 5,000 souls and 20,000 crystals an hour. But there's a problem. Doing one takes 2 minutes, and you'll have to wait for a new one. So, what should you do in the meantime? Well, the only other great way of obtaining them is doing bosses, Belial, or the ones that doesn't have the shitty phasing bullshit in them. I'm getting roughly 1,000 souls an hour doing Belial, but there is a caveat to this. You'll have to be efficient. You can't just head here in a group, spend minutes collecting your loot and waiting for some morons to do the same. No, you need to blast. And this is the sequence you want to follow. Firstly, you go in alone, because other people will slow you down. Then, the sequence is as follows. 1. Spawn the boss. 2. Kill boss. 3. Open up a chest fast as hell. 4. Spawn the boss. 5. Collect loot and see if there's anything useful. The reason I'm having to do this is because of all the annoying ass yapping the guy does. Hell, it's taking up most of the time in this place. And when you have a full inventory, you head straight for the salvaging station and salvage everything you don't need. Because this is where all of your veiled crystals come from. Now you're probably thinking, but Mr. Big Penis Man, how the hell am I supposed to spam Belial? I don't have any materials. It takes ages to farm them. Well, you're in luck, buddy, because Blizz fucked up big time this season when it comes to material duping. And it's easier than ever to just trade them. Belial husks are basically free. Hell, you can probably find someone to just give you thousands of them if you ask politely. But Mr. Perra, not everyone has gold or friends. I'm personally sitting 500,000 gold in my mom's basement, covered in my own feces. Yeah, that's how I imagine some of you crybabies. All you have to do is go to Diablo.trade or Crimson Market and sell one item. The economy this season is so fucked that you need to sell literally one half-decent item, and you're set for the rest of the season when it comes to boss materials. But Mr. Pergaming, I'm playing SSF or Hardcore, and I don't want to trade. What do I do now? All right, now we're talking, I can get behind that. There is a way of easily obtaining boss mats, and that is via these tributes. You can find them by deleting bosses, and in the pit mainly, and simply running these should set you up nicely to do boss spamming. Especially if you use the group finder and get a group running these tributes, then you're definitely set. Next up on the agenda, we're going to discuss something that nearly everyone gets completely wrong in this game. And that's experience farming. Because to play the ultra endgame builds, you need high paragons. Because more paragons means more damage means bigger penis. So, how do you farm experience efficiently in this game? There's two ways, everything else is pure garbage. The ways being hordes, which is not great, but it's decent if you want to chill and farm some obducites at the same time. And the best way by far is doing the pit. But you already knew that, didn't you? So why are people getting this wrong? Well, you tell me. What pit level should you run for the best experience? Pit 100? 90? 69? That's a popular one. Thing is, there is no such way as an optimal pit tier for all builds. But if you go for the wrong one, then you can get 5 times less experience. The reason being, health in the pit scales way harder than experience when you go up in tiers. And in case you were not aware, each pit tier equals to 17% more enemy health, but only 1% extra experience. And the health increase is multiplicative, meaning you may increase enemy health by a factor of 10, while you're increasing your experience by 10%. Pretty bad, right? Alright, so what does all this mean for you, my beautiful viewer? Well, here's the difference for my build. Clearing a pit in 5 minutes granted me 100 million XP an hour. Clearing it in 2 minutes, 264, and 1 minute 45, slightly more. Basically, the faster you can go, the more experience you get, regardless if you have to decrease the pit tier or not. You want to go to a pit level that you can one-shot, where your movement speed and mobility is the limiting factor, not your damage. My build can't clear faster than 1 minute 45, even if I decrease the difficulty, so around pit 65 to 70 is optimal for me in terms of experience. This will vary depending on your build, but you want to be able to go as fast as possible without stopping to deal damage. Simply lower the pit tier until you can't go any faster, and that's your sweet spot. This is the reason you're seeing some ultra streamers farm pit 60s when they could, in theory, clear a 120. It's way more experience per hour, and the only reason to go high in the pit is to level up your glyphs. And also, don't forget to always keep an incense and elixir up, and if you're doing some nightmare dungeons before hopping into the pit, then you can bring an experience well with you for an additional 15% XP. Alright friends, now let's check out some activities that are simply not worth running this season. I'll provide this spreadsheet in the description as well, in case your demented old boomer brain can't keep all of this in your head. Previous reasons, Tribute of Refinements, have been the GOAT for farming obducites. Now, they're shit. Reason being is simple, there are just better options out there that also grants you forgotten souls at the same time. Avoid this one. Helltides, just god-awful currently. Sure, you're getting some souls, but it's simply way worse than all other activities. Normal nightmare dungeons, or in other words, ones without strong rooms. Avoid these unless you're looking for something particular, like gems, for example. In that case, it may be worth running them early on. but you'll generally get more from hordes anyways. And long-ass pit runs, completely useless unless you're aiming to upgrade your glyphs. Now those are some of the biggest bottleneck materials this season. If you're missing anything else for some strange reason, just drop a comment and I'll tell you where to find it. I'd also like to mention that all of these farming strategies are better in a group as long as you can find a decent one. So don't be afraid of creating one yourself and kicking out the newbies if they suck ass. With that said, drop a sub and I'll see you in the next one.